What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. Hope everybody's doing well out there on this Sunday evening. I'm doing real good myself. Boy, I had a time cutting my grass, man. And I tell you, seeing as how they had all this lockdown and shit, the grass got damn near up to my knees. I tell you, and I'm kind of wore out behind that, but I figure, you know, I'll go ahead and get this story out to y'all because, well, it needs to be told. But yeah, it says here Louisville prosecutor dismisses charges against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, which, to be honest with you, he never should have been charged in the first place because he was only defending himself from three thugs with badges, that had no regard for his life or Mrs. Breonna Taylor's life, and which her life was snuffed out. And I'm wondering, they ruined those three cops. They ruined this man's life, and they took her life, and they ruined her mother's life, and everybody else that knows them, directly. And I do really believe that charges should be brought up on those so-called officers for doing so. Okay. But to get into the story right here, it says a Kentucky man at the center of a police misconduct case will no longer face charges. Okay. And attempted murder and assault charges have been dropped against Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, who returned fire when Louisville police stormed their apartment to serve a no-knock warrant. Okay. Now, naturally, in a situation like that, you're going to think anybody just running up in your house. Home invasion, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're gonna start capping. Why not? And it said that he asked who it was, and he never said a damn thing. Just continually trying to knock in the door. Okay. But to continue, the Carrier Journal reports the Commonwealth's attorney Tom Wine announced on Friday during a teleconference that Walker would no longer be charged with attempting to kill officers John Mattingly. Mattingly was struck in the leg during the gunfire that occurred when police barged into Taylor's apartment on March 13th. See, they barged in, and the fucker, he lucky that's all he got was hitting the leg. Okay. Wine played audio recordings of Walker describing what happened that day. Walker explained there were several knocks at the door. He and Taylor, an EMT, got out of bed to see what was happening, and the LMPD officers barged inside. Walker fired his registered gun in self-defense, and police returned fire, hitting Taylor multiple times with who ultimately died. She was 26 years old. All of a sudden, there's a whole lot of shots, Walker said. We both dropped to the ground, and my gun fell. There's the police. There's a lot of yelling and stuff. There's just shooting, and we're both on the ground. And when all the shots stop, she's bleeding. Wow, what a nightmare, man. I'm pretty much sure, it is said that people are supposed to be sociopathic. Obviously, you have these lowlifes on the police department, sociopaths. Don't feel empathy unless there's something done to them or one of theirs. Okay, but I know this sociopathic thing is a lie, because the Most High, when He made people, He did give them a conscience, even though these particular people that was somewhat like, well, I'm not going to get into all that. But anyway, they wind up having a conscience in the long run. This is the reason why they wind up committing suicide. Okay? But to continue, it says, Rob Eggert, Walker's attorney, filed a motion on Thursday to have the charges dismissed in a case that has drawn national outrage and a special prosecutor. He claimed police officers never mentioned Taylor's name before the grand jury, or that she had been shot 8 times. There was no misleading testimony by the detective in the case, nor was they any was there any ethical breaches. Wine said in his opening remarks Friday, however, I do agree with him that more should have been presented to the grand jury, including the statement of Kenneth Walker. All right. Huh. Boy, it's been so much happening. It's hard to keep up with all this stuff. You know what I mean? But I guess that's what that's what they want. To continue, it says here, Wine added that more investigation was necessary and there was a possibility that Walker could still be charged if new evidence presented itself. It's very possible there was no criminal activity on either side of that door because people couldn't hear what the other party was saying, Wine said. I beg to differ about that. Yeah, there was criminal activity on the other side of the door on behalf of those police who just barged into that house like that. Okay? See, this no-knock warrant shit, hey, that is a bad deal right there, and it should be outlawed. They need to write that out. They need to get rid of that right there because it's going to cause situations like this. Continuing, the misconduct of Kentucky police has come under criticism recently, especially in light of a federal lawsuit filed by Kendrick Wilson last October, allegedly that one of the officers involved in the shooting death was a crooked cop. Wilson claims Brett Hankinson maliciously targeted him and planted drugs on him. According to the suit, in October 2019, LMPD officers executed a warrant at Wilson's home and barbershop, kicking in the door of his home and pointing guns at his girlfriend before handcuffing her during the search. Hankinson was one of the three officers who executed a no-knock warrant on the home Taylor and Walker. Hankinson, Mattingly, and Officer Miles Cosgrove fired more than 20 rounds into the apartment. Okay. It's messed up, man. There's no way that they can go on living like nothing happened, though. They gonna pay for this one way or another. In conclusion, here it says, in a lawsuit filed by attorney Benjamin Crump on behalf of Taylor's family, they believe police forced their way into Taylor's home in a botched raid, surprising Taylor and Walker, who thought the officers were burglars. He criticized the decision to charge Walker in the first place. I agree. Okay, what is this right here? He goes on to say here, don't African Americans have the right to the Second Amendment? Crump asked last week. He was trying to protect Breonna. He was trying to protect himself. And that is so true. You know what I mean? That's just what it is, They had no right doing that. They murdered this woman right here and they ruined their lives, and they should be made to pay for that, And I don't doubt for 1 second that those cops are actually crooked, But y'all tell me what y'all think about this story right here. I'm interested in hearing y'all thoughts, views, and opinions on it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And people, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched. Simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.